What's up everybody, it's your favorite coach's favorite coach. And in today's video, we're going to do NBA comparisons for 3 rookies of this year's draft. For obvious reasons, this was a crazy and emotional draft. There was a lot of crying from the draftees. And while I initially attributed this to the passing of the torch to Generation Z, I think that's kind of an unfair oversimplification. In reality, there's a lot of adversity these prospects had to go through in 2020. For one, the draft being pushed back to November. 2, the season of their draft year being cut short due to COVID. And 3, a lot of uncertainty as to what was going to happen to them throughout the entire summer. So it definitely makes sense. There are a lot of characters in this draft, namely James Wiseman, Tyrese Halliburton, Patrick Williams, and of course LaMelo Ball. This does seem like a very likable and humble class. But the first player we're going to talk about is Cole Anthony. This is a player I wanted to cover in his own video, but I definitely wanted to get an NBA comparison for him out there. Cole Anthony, the son of Greg Anthony, was drafted 15th overall by the Orlando Magic coming out of North Carolina. And this is a kid we've heard about for a long time. He's usually listed as a top 3 pick in most mock drafts over the last couple years, so his stock definitely took a hit. As a freshman in 22 games, he averaged 18.5 points per game and 4 assists. The big knock on him has been shot selection, and that can largely be attributed to the fact that North Carolina was pretty bad this year. He was their go-to guy. At 6'3", 190, he's a tank of a point guard, and you can see this when he's attacking the basket. He's able to absorb contact in the air and still finish. So my NBA comparison for him is Deron Williams, another deceptively strong, old school type of point guard. This type of point guard is almost obsolete nowadays, and you can definitely see that evolution in real time around 2006, 2007. It was still a debate as to which point guard should have gone higher in the draft, Chris Paul or Deron Williams. But Deron Williams was incredibly strong. You hear stories about him at Illinois beating all his teammates at wrestling. These guys are built to handle contact and still finish. And of course, just like Cole Anthony, he liked to hang the ball and use a lot of lateral space to create angles for scoring opportunities off the dribble. Cole Anthony can go one of 2 ways. He's either going to be a giant bust or he's going to evolve his game into a modern point guard. And again, that's because he's a relic of a bygone era. He's in the vein of Steve Francis, Juan Dixon. In the early 2000s, everybody wanted that tall, ball-dominant scoring guard. Now, the evolution of this type of position essentially occurred with Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas was like the first type of James Harden. He was like a combo guard with an arsenal of ways to score. So he's like that missing link between those types of point guards and James Harden, Devin Booker, Tyler Hero, etc. And the reason I bring this up is because Cole Anthony is going to have to figure out how his game is going to evolve, and he's going to have to figure out how to do it effectively. In today's NBA, there's just not that much room for those inefficient scoring guards. So how well he's going to play in the next level is how well he can fit into that next mold. And that's essentially being able to knock down open jump shots, work on his shot selection, know when to make that extra pass, and be an efficient offensive player. He does train with Chris Brickley. I think that's a good sign. Brickley's been able to help a lot of players reclaim their career. Guys like J.R. Smith and Carmelo Anthony, whose games were also dated for the modern NBA. But Cole Anthony does strike me as a hardworking player with a chip on his shoulder. He's obviously born into money, and he's always going to have to prove himself to his teammates that he's not just some rich, spoiled kid. So I'm definitely going to give Cole Anthony the benefit of the doubt for now. The second guy we're going to cover is Theo Maledon. This guy's stock fell off a lot. I remember him being projected to go as high as top 10. He ended up getting drafted 34th overall by the Sixers and traded to Oklahoma City. And the thing that stood out for me for this 19-year-old point guard is that he was your prototypical Spurs type of player. And in fact, he played for Asvel Lyon. Forgive my terrible French accent, but that's the team that Tony Parker is the president of, and he's also been a mentor for Maledon. So obviously he's drawn a lot of comparisons to Tony Parker. But to me, he reminds me of so many of the Spurs players over the past few years, namely Kyle Anderson and Boris Diaw. These two are forward-sized guards with high basketball IQ and elite-level passing. And yes, believe it or not, Boris Diaw was originally a guard. We referred to him as Skinny Boris Diaw from the Atlanta Hawks days. But you could essentially compare this guy as the prototypical Spurs type of player. Somebody who can fit in a system. He's a big point guard. He's good at scoring inside. The knocks on him is he has a hard time creating his own shot. He seems very dependent on the pick and roll. As for his stats in the EuroLeague, he played 18 games starting 12, averaged 7.1 points per game, 2.1 assists. And so far, with his first game with the Thunder, he looked pretty good. He scored 20 points. He was able to get to the line, be efficient from the field, and show that he could attack off the dribble. But most of this did come off the pick and roll and open catch and shoot situations. He even showed that he could fill that CP3 type of niche. However, the knock on him has always been that assist to turnover ratio. 3.41 assists to 1.9 turnovers, which is very mediocre, especially for a player who struggles to create his own shot. I thought for sure he was going to get drafted by the Spurs. I thought it was a done deal. I think he played with Livio Jean-Charles over there. But he's a big 6'4" point guard with a 6'9" reach, I believe. But he had a 1.67 assist to turnover ratio. And that's something that, as he adjusts to the speed of the NBA, he's going to improve on. But Theo Maledon is definitely a rookie to keep an eye on. And finally, we move to Onyeka Okongwu. This guy's a legit rim protector, very athletic, and he seems to be a pretty versatile defender. But he definitely doesn't have the most diverse game offensively, so I don't think he's going to be a stretch 4 or a perimeter 5 anytime soon. He stands 6'9", weighs 245 pounds, and averaged 16.2 points, 8.6 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks at USC last year. And while he's drawn a lot of comparisons to Bam Adebayo, to me this is one of the easiest NBA comparisons, and that's a mini Hassan Whiteside. They have a near identical game. If he has a head full of steam, he's a hard roller going towards the basket on the pick and roll. That's going to be his main offense. Just like you see with Hassan Whiteside in Portland, he's that rim protector, rim runner, and an aggressive roller. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits in with Trae Young. He's probably going to help make him even more lethal from the perimeter by keeping the second layer of defense honest. But anyways, I don't really see Atlanta using him as a drag screener or anything like that. He's not going to develop into that Jokic type of player. And bottom line to me is he's a carbon copy of Hassan Whiteside. And that's not bad. But anyways, guys, let us know what you think. If there's any other rookies you want us to cover, let us know in the comment section. As always, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next one.